Hi guys, and welcome to the new tutorial. This one is about the caustics effect, how to make it fully in comp. And for the reference scene, I'm gonna use the famous corridor shot of the Blade Runner 2049. And I think this shot is amazing, and the caustics there is just perfect, and I will try to recreate this. And please join me. Alright, let's begin. So this is my scene. I already loaded here the 3D part and two loaders with the footage, with the render. So the first one, that's an RGB JPEG sequence. As you can see, it has no any caustics effect. Simple scene. And another one is just for shadows, matte shadow pass from the V-Ray. We're gonna use this to extract masks, but you will see later what we need it for. And this is how my 3D setup looks like. I just selected geometry from the 3ds Max and exported as an 11-bit file, included camera, of course. So let's start with comping. First, what I want to see is how the render looks like from this camera. So dropping the render node, and I can make introduce some light inside the scene just to see the shapes of the scene. I usually do this before start to do any comp because I want to be sure that my 3D setup and render is matching with the already rendered sequence. So let me put the light, increase the angle, and let's see in the render. In the render node, you have to enable lighting. Even shadows can be enabled, but I don't need those. And my aspect ratio is different, so on the image tab I'm changing that to 800, and I'm using this JPEG sequence as a background and my rendered image as a foreground. In the merge node, I'm changing the blend just to see if it's matching or not. Yeah, it's perfectly aligned. That's good. So I can remove this merge node for now. Let me quickly explain the whole core concept of this technique. So the concept is that if I have any shape, any 3D object, let's say a plane object, let me rotate it something like this, and if I have a camera, 3D camera, I can use it as a projector. That's a quite common technique. What we do, we're projecting our image onto the surface. That's a base idea. For geometry, let me scale it up. For geometry, in order to be used as a surface for the projector, I need to have a catcher node, and I need to plug this node directly to the shape. This catcher node is the same as if you would use a material. I can skip this catcher, I can keep it, but I can skip the plug it directly to the shape. And I can create the node material change, material, sorry, I forgot the name, material replace material. and that node can go after the 3D shape, and catcher node can go directly into it. So we are overriding original material of this shape with this catcher material. Where it might be useful is when you have a big scene imported into Fusion from somewhere, from any 3D application, and you need to override everything at once. Otherwise, you would have to create a catcher node and plug this to each node individually. That will take time. So having this set up, I can use any image to project on that surface. So let me create a noise node, fast noise node, plug this to the camera. And in the camera, I need to set up a few things. So by default, in the image tab, I have to enable image plane. And in the projection tab, enable camera projection. And in projection mode, switch ambient light to texture. And we already have to see the projection, but I was just zoomed out very much. If I will move the camera, or instead of moving, I will change in the controls tab angle of view, I can see more and cover the whole area of this surface. If the noise is animated, that can be represented on that surface. So that's the whole concept of this, and we can get back to our scene. So the original setup, I believe it's a practical effect. So let me bring here the reference. So up there they have a pool, and that pool caused casting this caustic effect down below to this corridor. And also they have artificial light hanging somewhere up there. And I was trying to recreate this scene in Max and render this image. So let's now imitate the position of that pool. So we're gonna put a new camera. I don't need this light anymore. We're gonna put a new camera 3D, and plug this to the main 3D merge node. This camera can be lifted up, and it will project that caustic effect down below to all surfaces basically. So I can rotate it like this, or put the number in the transform -90 to cast that projection directly down, and just increase a bit the angle of view. So we have this setup, but we need to project something, and that is going to be a fast noise. If you have a footage of the caustics effect and the good resolution, that of course is better, because nothing can beat the real world footage. But we're gonna use fast noise, procedural noise that we have that comes together with the Fusion. So the setup would be like this: fast noise, discontinuous, and inverted. We can enable the seed rate to have it animated, and that's basically the base. So we need now to adjust the details maybe increase a bit more details, contrast. I prefer change the aspect ratio of this image to be squared, so 1920 by 1920. And the scale, it should be quite small. So let's, as a test, plug this to the camera. Again, it automatically grabs the pink input, which is taking the images, and in the camera disable image plane, in the projection enable texture, and enable camera projection. So let's see, and yes, of course nothing is affected. It's because we are not using catcher node. So let's use catcher node. And as I told you previously, we don't have to plug individually to each surface. Instead, we can use material, replace material. That replace material will go after the ABC node, which is a simple 3D merge 3D node. I'm going to put it after it, and plug my catcher node here. Okay. I'm not sure if I keep the camera here, the projector, and my main camera in the same ABC node, will it be rendered or not? Let me see. Yeah, it is rendered. Oops. So this is it. We just created the whole concept, the whole base. Now let's do the same what we did before. Merge together the backplate and our effect. All right. I discovered that the merge node, it doesn't work nicely, so I instead have used Boolean node, channel Boolean, and my JPEG will go to the background. My effect will go to the foreground. And the blending mode, the operation, sorry, would be add. Yeah, and now it is, of course, very much bright, and the colors are not working. But if I play the sequence, everything sticks together nicely. So let's have two viewers. In first one, we will see the 3D setup, and the second one, we will see the result. First, what I want to set up is my camera, projector camera. So this is my rendering camera, this is my projector camera. I will increase the angle, something like this. And in the fast noise node, I will adjust a few things. So these are too bright areas, so let's change the color. To more or less something like this. In the noise setup, maybe contrast can be increased. Yeah, you see the clipping now. In the render 3D node, change the where is it? In the control tab, change the render type from software to hardware, so you will be able to see the background. Okay. Now in the back to fast noise, Seed rate maybe can be lower, something like 0.3 to make it slower, the animation. And what else we can set up here is not much actually, but some few things. Maybe scale can be smaller, 40. Yeah, of course we have to use reference. I think that we will never be able to reach exactly the same look because that's real caustics, but we can try to get closer to it. So I select fast noise again and adjust a few things like brightness and contrast, details. Also, maybe the camera position can be adjusted, moved slightly closer to the scene, and maybe rotated to have just to be a little bit angled. Do we have here a hard edge? So we can get rid of it by changing the input image, the fast noise. We can simply add a mask to it, rectangular mask. With the soft edge. By softening this edge, we can get a softer edge here. Yeah, so, but if you remember, we also have this pass, the shadow pass. We're gonna use it to clip out these areas because in the shadow we don't have the effect. Let me bring here the reference. Yeah, and the shadows here in this shot quite strong. I couldn't reach this in the rendering. I think that's another proof that practical effects are much more valuable and harder to recreate and much complex. It looks cool, but it is what it is. And how we're gonna use this pass? We simply gonna use it as a mask, black and white mask, in our render 3D node. So let me bring here for the full screen my render output, and this matte shadow can go directly here in the blue input. Nothing happened because we need to convert this into bitmap with the bitmap node. I plug it here, and if you check the bitmap, it automatically checking the alpha channel, but the alpha channel here it is not present because everything covered with geometry, but we need to convert this from alpha to luminance. So this bitmap node will recognize black and white colors, and then we will be able to use it in the render node. So let me disable enable. In the alpha channel you will see it better, the effect. Another thing we have to remember that everything that is white here will be visible in this render node. So we need to invert this mask. I just hit invert and we are clipping our shadows before and after. Also in the bitmap node we can emphasize this by shrinking the threshold, emphasize the effect of shadows. And this pass is quite noisy, so I thought that simple soft edge in the bitmap node will solve the problem. I think it does. So let's go back to our output, and here we're having clipped shadows. Let me show you before and after. Exactly what I wanted. What else we need to check here is this ceiling, because it's quite messy. We are projecting on the 3D model, but here in Fusion we see through the objects in this case. How I try to solve this is by creating matte objects. So for instance, I have this object here, this geometry. I just made the copy by Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and plugging this to the, let's say, original one. Now these two objects are overlapping, but if I move it a little bit with transform node, oops, sorry, that's a rotation, I'm gonna move it slightly away. Let me just change the color to see it better, and move it a little bit up. And I'm gonna use this as a matte object. If you go to the Control tab and go to the Matte tab, make it Ease Matte, it means that everything that is behind this object will be clipped by it. And also I want to make it a bit bigger just to clip those edges here. I can do it easily by scaling in the Z direction. So let's see how it looks in the render. Let me unplug this, what we just made. As you can see, it clips out the areas we need. What else we have to clip? I think that's it actually. Oh yeah, and also this this middle part, middle section. This geometry. Also, we should not have any projection on the bottom part of it. So let me do the same, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, plug it back. Now we have two geometries overlapping. I can change the color to see it better, and with the transform node, move it slightly down, slightly up, and make it thinner, and make it matte object. Okay, there is another way. Let me unplug this, and in the original shape, in the visibility, I can enable the back, so we will not see the back wall, but we still see intersection between those planks. So we need this matte 3D object. I think this also can be reached by a simple cryptomatte masks, but I decided to try something different. And this is basically it. I hope it was useful, and I hope you will use it and practice it. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. So thank you.